Hello, Mario. Engineering Surveying. DE 5205. Session 1. Introduction, Types of Surveying. Hello and welcome to the Engineering Survey course here at the Moodle dashboard. So let's get into the course straight away, and there we go. It's come into session 1. Just to make things, we'll come into the home page here, which is the it's officially the one where we start. Now I'm going to do a more in-depth look at Moodle later on. You'll notice that it's still grinding away. It does take some time for this home page to load. So here we have the course outline here, and of course the news forum, where all of the emails that are sent out to everyone in the course, they come from this forum. So if you miss the forum, if you miss or think you're missing out on emails, sign into Moodle and come into the forum. So here's the first email I sent out a little while ago saying that the Moodle site is up. In other words, I've transferred it from 2016. I'm just doing a bit of work on it now, and I should have it session 1 ready for you sometime soon. And I'll let you know by an email out of this website here. Okay, and then also up here, as you'll be aware, it takes a little bit of while to load up this particular page. The front page, perhaps it's got a lot of data and stuff on it with the course outline and what have you, yeah, there it is there, the course outline, which we'll talk a little bit about later on. So let's go to session 1 here, and these here is the PowerPoint that I use for my introduction, which obviously you've seen the front page of at the start of this video. So here it is here, and we do a slideshow from the beginning. There it is there, DE 5202, session 1. So here we have my contact details, Mario, my email, and my cell phone number. Now I think I know most of you from your previous experiences here at Wintec, or I know a lot of the students in 2017 anyway, future 2018 or whatever, if they're still using this video. Yeah, I may not be, your tutor might be someone else. So, but anyway, we'll see how long the video lasts. So I do know most of you, but you should know that if you want to contact me, by all means, all channels are open any time of the day. If I don't want to answer the phone, I just don't answer it. And if I can help you, I will. If I can't, I won't. Or I'll let you know, though, one way or the other. So my contact details, feel free to contact me at any time. Our session plan here. Now, how the thing is structured for 2017 is that we have a 2-hour theory class in the CAD lab on Friday mornings, and then we have a 4-hour practical on Friday afternoon. So the practical is here in the grade part here with 4 hours. Now the introduction, of course, is always a lengthy affair because there's such a lot to get going and everything to get up and going. So I'll try and keep it as brief as I can, but yeah, I'm not known for my brevity in these situations. So obviously we'll sign the class register, and we do have some issues, I know, with some students have a clash with another subject. So obviously this little intro may be helpful for them to view at a later date. So just what our numbers are going to be like at our situation here on a Friday morning is yet to be discovered, and so we may well have another session as part of another class on another day, but I'll let you know about that. So we're going to do a sign in, do the course outline, The course diary, I've got some things there, and the weekly tasks, a little bit about the weekly tasks, and the Zealandia Project intro. Well, I'll perhaps leave that. That's got a little briefing of its own, but we can perhaps talk about that a little bit later. So, yeah, so that's pretty much how it'll go for the 2 hours. Pretty much a bit of a talk fest, really, as we introduce everything. But we will maybe get some time at the end to sort of work on a project brief, which will is sort of a bit of a planning document in a way, in that it gives us the availability, tells us a little bit about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. So, the key learning outcomes, of course, successful completion of this session. You should have a bit of a holistic understanding of the course and tutor expectations. I expect you to work hard, very hard, get lots of work done, and come up with a real U-Butte project that you're quite proud of, that you can carry around with you and show to potential employers as an example of your fine work and effort and skills in the area of surveying and in general civil engineering, of which surveying does form quite a significant part. So you should have an overview of the team structure and expectations there as well. So we're going to possibly form up into teams, but I think the teams may well select themselves depending on availability and what have you. So and the small size of the class. So at some point we might be working as a one large group and in others as two smaller groups, or even three, depending on the situation and the circumstances. You'll have an overview of the weekly tasks. Essentially, the weekly tasks are a way of giving us the background and sort of information that we need for the exam. So they're going to be getting us prepared for the exam side of things, really. And as the practical is more for the practical component, with there'll be aspects of that will lead into examination and theory. So we need to work around those. Basic understanding of the Zealandia Project, which is worth 28% of the mark, but it runs over the whole 15 weeks. And an overview of the course test expectations, 10%, and the final exam, 50%. And understood what we should be doing, what preparation you need to do for next week. So that's the learning outcomes that you should come away from this session with. Alrighty, so the course outline. I'll just do a brief course outline at this point, and then we'll do it in more detail once we examine the Moodle site more closely. Alrighty, so here we go. Well, we've got a 15 credit course, and as you know, it's generally equate to 10 hours per credit, so that gives us 150 hours, generally over a 15-week semester, with a 2-week midterm break in there. So it's a 15-week semester though, 10 hours per week, which is 150 hours. Now each week we have a 2-hour theory class and a 4-hour practical, which is 6 hours for 15 weeks, which is 90 hours. So that would be directed or scheduled class time, 90 hours, 6 hours per week. So to make that up to 10, that's 4 hours of working on your own, unscheduled and self-directed, which would give you 10 hours. Now the 10 hours is how the course is designed. So the expectation is that, well, you've bought 10 hours of time and that you would spend 10 hours. So, having paid for 10 hours, why would you want to spend 6? Well, I I probably know the answer to that, but that's a rhetorical question. So, yes, so that's 10 hours a week. It's quite significant. That's a whole day's work, and that is 10 hours of chargeable time. So, if, say, for instance, you were paid to mow a lawn, you would be mowing the lawn for 10 hours. Okay, and that's the 10 hours that were charged. You couldn't be mowing for 6 hours and sitting down, feeding the ducks for 4 and expect to get paid for 10. So this is chargeable hours. So the client is expecting that you will do 10 hours of work and he'll get charged for 10 hours. He's not expecting that you'll do 6 hours of work and charge him for 10. So we need to be quite clear that this is 10 quality hours of hard work, learning. Alrighty. So, some successful student behaviours. So there are some things that we find successful students do, and that is that they are very engaged. They want to be here. They're on time. Got high energy, interested in the job. They, really want to move things ahead and get things done. They're engaged. They don't sort of turn up in a, 20 minutes late in a pretty tired sort of fashion, and then spend all their time on their phone, not helping and things like that. They're into it, getting it done. Getting it, not rushing through it, but getting it done at a good, steady pace and a good quality. So we want engagement from students. If you find engagement as a problem, you should be asking yourself, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why am I making this a career? If, in fact, I don't find it engaging or enjoyable or fun. So, these are key questions that you should be asking. Now, one of the main things that we need is evidence. So you can come along to class and you can work very hard and do all sorts of things, but if you don't gather any evidence, if you don't pick up the paper along the way, if you don't draw the plans, you don't do the computer stuff, you don't create or generate any evidence, we can't give you any marks, no matter how good you are. So it's very important that you focus on the evidence, focus on collecting the data, and that everything you do, you keep a record of it, that it's neat and tidy, and you put it together into a credible format that you can use and recall when and where you want it. So this is key. People are looking over my shoulder, well, not quite, but looking over my shoulder, and they're saying, why did you give this person an A? Where's the evidence? So I need to collect solid evidence that shows your skills and how good you are at doing this work, so that I can give you an A, and everyone else that's looking over my shoulder saying, yes, that student is a very good student. They've got an A, and they've worked for it and deserved it because we've got the evidence. Not only that, you will be able to take this evidence away with you. You will be producing a report. So each student will produce a report that you'll be able to take this away from you and say, if you're going for a job interview, saying, this is an example of my work. This is a report that I worked on. I did this, this, and this. Look, here's the plans I drew. I used 12D. These sorts of things. These are all evidence, not only evidence that I can use, but evidence that you can use and feel very proud of. And hopefully when you take it to the employer and put it in front of you, they are quite impressed with your things. Now, if you're only working at 50% and you hand in a load of rubbish, and then you put that together into sort of a pretty crappy little report, and get 56%. You wouldn't be showing that to any employer. That would probably lose you a job, not get you a job. So it's important that you put a lot of, put some good solid effort into this and create something that's worthwhile. I mean, why wouldn't you? Why would you want to create something that's only half right and half good, and it's going to lose you, if you showed it to them, would lose you a job rather than gain you one. So, think very carefully about what you do, and do it at a steady pace and a good quality. Now, we will be working in teams, and it's important that we get the teams to work as efficiently as possible. The reason that we work in teams, of course, is because together everyone achieves more. We can all put our piece in, and we get the benefit of 4 people's work if we're in a team of 4, and as opposed to 1 person. So, and generally, if we accumulate all our knowledge, the accumulated knowledge of the team is far greater than that of any of the individuals in the team. So none of us are as smart as all of us. So what does this mean, this teamwork thing? Well, it means that everybody's equal. Nobody's beyond doing the small jobs, picking up the gear and taking it back, closing the case that you put the gear in, making sure the gear's okay, not throwing any rubbish around the site, arriving on time, arriving to team meetings, volunteering to do stuff, seeing what needs to be done and doing it, rather than standing around leaning on a post, perhaps texting who knows who, and that sort of thing, or taking off to have a cigarette every 5 minutes. You should be in there doing the work and, participating, understanding, trying to help. Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes it might be a little bit boring if you're standing around waiting for other people. You've got to make it interesting. Think of things to do. Sort of take an interest in what's going on. Think of other things that you could do that could make the team more efficient or make more work get done. So these are all things that are part of the assessments in some shape or form that are going to make everyone's life easier and happier. Okay, now one of the things I've asked you to do is a diary, and I think I've done this in another of the subjects, so you'll all be aware of it. And there's a little briefing there on the diary that we can do in some detail at some point if we need to. So I'm going to remind you each week about the diary. Some of the important things about the diary is not only recording what happens, planning ahead for what's going to happen, but also reflecting on what's happening. So how did it work? Oh, that went really well. That didn't go so well because I could have done this, which would make that go better. This sort of reflection and evaluation is important development tool as to how we move forward. So we want to be using the diary. I also want to be doing some project management aspects in the diary so that we can manage the available time that we have and make sure that we get things on time and according to the deadlines. So that's what the diary, there'll be a little nagging diary call each week in my session introduction. Worksheets. There is some worksheets here. Essentially, there's worksheets every week. Now, a lot of the worksheets are worksheets that you may have encountered before where you've done them by hand, but this time we're going to do them by 12D. So you may be able to get your copies of worksheets from previous papers and get them working. But the idea of the worksheets is to do them in a digital format. But also the worksheets will form the basis of the exam and test. So a lot of the calculations and work that's in the worksheets will form the questions of the 2 tests that we do during the course, as well as the examination at the end. Now, there's no national examination for this course, so I, as your tutor, will be writing the examination for it. So I can assure you that it will be based on the worksheets. So getting the worksheets done is like studying for the exam and getting yourself ready for the exam. If you cannot do the worksheets, you will not be able to do the exam. Well, not unless there's some minor miracle occurs. So yeah, that's how that's all going to work. So we'll be doing a little reminder on those. Now the Zealandia Project, of course, got a separate briefing on that, and that is the area, the area of land that we'll be working on. We're going to be doing a full survey of that for so that a client can use that information to do further development of it. The client also may ask us to set out various bits and pieces so that we can see where they lie and how they fit for their design purposes. So the Zealandia Project, 28% of your overall mark. Separate briefing for that in some detail. All right, now before I'm going to go from here, I'm going to go and have a look at the Moodle course, but I've got some things to do for before next week, and I will have some other little bits and pieces that might be a good thing to do before be prepared for next week's class. But before next week, it would be a very good idea to read the Successful Strategies for Teams resource. It's just have a read through it. It's relatively easy to read. It's quite a number of pages, 89 pages, but they're not close text like the telephone book or anything like that. Quite easy to read, quite diagrammatic, and got some good sort of stuff in there, and resources in there that you will be able to use for various bits and pieces, project meetings and things like that. And what we're starting to do now is a written exercise, a project brief, which essentially is our planning for the survey, and that will sort of record what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, what level, what we're going to use, what degree of accuracy and that sort of thing. So these are things that you need to be thinking of. So what's new in Moodle? Obviously, we'll go and have a look at Moodle. So let's escape out of here, and I think we can zip that off, turn that off, and here we are in Moodle. So as I said, we've got the home page here, and it takes a little bit of time to fire up. I think I discussed the forum, the news forum where all of the videos come out of there. So they will be there, and here's the course outline here. So this is the news forum here, where you can look for all of the stuff that comes out of that. And here's the course outline right here. So everybody gets a course outline, fits in there. It's a little bit of an index. Here is the contact details of the key Wintec personnel associated with this course. So obviously you've got my good self there, which I've put my details up. Your program coordinator, Aidan Bigham, and from time to time, you may ask me a question that I can't answer, and I may send you or ask you to contact Aidan, and he can help you with things to do with enrolment and programs and courses and what to do, forms to fill out, that sort of stuff. And then we have our team manager, Trudy Harris, who also will, if you've got some things you want to talk to Trudy about, she will definitely listen to you. It's just a matter of making an appointment or emailing her. So there's the those contacts there. So there's some details of the course which I've gone through with you. earlier in the PowerPoint that I had up there, pretty much the same, DE 5205. All right, the aim to develop further knowledge of surveying with specific reference to engineering applications, and the content there, I think stuff that you can expect, robotic and reflectorless. The robotic, I'm hoping I'll get something sorted this year in that area. Hydrographics, photogrammetry, and we just have to have an understanding of these different types of surveys, so you can see those names coming in. If you don't understand or don't recall what those refer to, I'd suggest you might need to do a little bit of study or research. Site survey controls, topo surveys, set out of round roadworks and buildings, survey mark protection, as built, CCTV, and certification, and safety, of course, with perhaps a little bit of a look at traffic management. So this is the weekly schedule that I've put in, as I think you'll probably realise it can be quite subject to change due to the weather, and obviously with the project going on as to the way projects go. But generally the worksheets and what have you will be there. So there's some little weekly tasks and worksheets that I've put in there as well. So they're worth 10%. So we've got the Zealandia Project, which is control, topo and set out, 28%, which I've put together but broken into separate entities, but within the one project, 28%. The weekly tasks, 8%. Remember that the exam questions will come largely from those tasks. And then the course diary, which of course relates back to everything and how it fits together as part of the assessment tool. And then there will be 2 tests worth 5% each. Now, one of the reasons why we have the test is obviously we have the exam, but we have the tests in case if people are unable to make the exam or impaired performance, then we can use the tests as a guideline as to where they fit within the class. So it is very important that you put a strong emphasis on the tests, because they can have a key influence in your final mark if you have some sort of injury or a family emergency or impaired performance in the 50% exam at the end. So key that you prepare for those and you know, get as best mark as you can. Pass requirements, 40% in coursework and internal and external, and a total of over 50% in total. The learning outcomes, I think we've been through those previously in one way or another there, but they're available there. I think I went through those, or they're in the Zealandia Park briefing. Attendance, yep, let me know. Basically, communicate. If you can't be at class, let me know what's going on. You're going to be part of a team one way or another, so we need to know if you're not going to be there. We're not hanging around waiting for you. Hopefully, if you've got data that it's pushed out amongst the team, you're not hanging on to it, so that you're not holding up other people. That's one of the main things there. And of course, if your own health is not good, we don't expect you to you know, drag yourself along. However, do keep medical records and do contact me. Sometimes you may contact me and I may give you advice as to what records and things you want. So that is you know, quite helpful from time to time. So you'll find communication just makes the world go around a lot easier if everyone knows what's going on and things like that. Assignments and reports to be handed in by 11:59, which is close to midnight on whatever day is there. If you cannot make the deadline, fill in a special consideration form. But if you are having some trouble, contact me and talk to me, and let's I'm sure that we can come up with a solution that suits both of us. Okay, late assignments may incur a loss of 10%. So we have that option there. If, you know, assignments are late just for by reason of the fact that they just can't be bothered. Okay, but for genuine circumstances, I'm sure we can sort things out. Plagiarism, be very careful. Do not copy other people's work. Do not leave your work lying around so other people can copy it. Remembering that it's so very easy to take a photograph of work lying around or a computer screen. If two pieces of work are considered to be sufficiently similar that we suspect that some form of cheating has gone on, both parties are called in and under scrutiny. So even if you are a totally innocent party, it can be quite a stressful situation. Well, it's unnecessary stress that nobody needs. So the best thing is to keep your data secure, and don't leave it lying around, and don't share it with other people. It may not be the person that you share it with that causes a problem. It might be the person that they share it with, the third party down the track. So just be very careful, very vigilant about your work. Don't let other people share it or things like that, because it could become a problem for you. So don't mar or impair or taint your good work by just inattention to small security details. Also, keep your work securely saved on a flash drive or two, backed up. Every year I hear at least one or two sob stories about students who lose data. It's very sad. It happens every year, but there's nothing I can do about it. No evidence. Very hard to give some marks. So be careful. Keep your evidence secure and backed up. Okay, so that's our course outline. All right. Now, what else have we got there? Oh, that's the front page. Here's the assessment page. So there's the assessment schedule, which is from the course outline. I've got here your course diary and a little bit of briefing, a video briefing on the diary. I think I'll, we'll do that separately. Have a look at the briefing on the diary there, and we can go through that. And then there's also here a separate briefing on the Zealandia Project, which we can have a go through at some point as well. So we can do that here. But at this stage, we're just going through the Moodle course. So that's in there, like so. Now, worksheets. Here we have, this is all of the worksheets here, and you'll notice that the worksheets have answers. So the idea is that you get the worksheet, you have a go at the worksheet, give it your best shot, and then you can have a look at the answers to see how you're going, see if you work it out. The worksheets are there to identify challenges. So if you can't do the stuff, you perhaps need to do some look at some of the resources that are maybe associated with it, or you can ask your tutor or other students, but they should put the challenge in front of you. If you meet the challenge, good, move on. If you don't meet the challenge, then you've got to solve it. You've got to find a solution to the problem that you have, sort that out, and move on. That's how we learn. That's how we say we've learned. So in here I've got these are some data for the exam for the Zealandia Project, and they're explained in the Zealandia briefing. And these are some Zealandia videos as well, which are also various helpful little hints and tips for the project with regards to loading data, doing topos and that sort of thing. A lot of videos and what have you there. which brings us to session 1 here. So got a little bit of what to do before class. So it says there, read the notes on the types of survey, which are there. And I'll be sending an email out about that just before class, so that people can maybe get on to that and get that done. Here's the session plan, which was in the PowerPoint I showed you. Here's the PowerPoint here. These are some of the weekly tasks. The proposal this week is to have a look at the 10-stake challenge, which will be done during class time this week. Essentially, what it is we're to set out a line of stakes offset a metre from a proposed footpath with a 1% gradient. So it's a line of 10 stakes with a 1% gradient on them. That's the challenge, and we've got to do that with a level and then check it with a total station. Here's a bit of an example of it drawn up, so you can see that you've got the stakes there, and then you've got marks on the stakes, which are actually bits of tape, what we call tape, marking out a 1% grade, and then we get a string line and check it out and see how it all goes. So this is all about some little setting out issues and things like that we can do, and that's called the 10-stake challenge. So we set it out, we check our, do some leveling, check our grades, and produce a little bit of a document so that everyone knows that it's done properly and it's been fully checked. So that's our 10-stake challenge there. Just very quickly, there's successful strategies for teams that I want you to work and read, and the types of survey there. And then these are your worksheets down here. There's also a little quiz there, which is a Moodle quiz that can be done online, and we'll get some credit for that as well. And then these worksheets 1 and 2 here with some resources about how to go about doing them. So yeah, all pretty good there. That's session 1, and then the other sessions come through. There's some more resources up here. These are just variety of resources, but mostly related to the different sessions, have all been put together. So they're available in the sessions, but they may be available here as might be just slightly easier to find and navigate to. And Tech Talk is just a series of little videos of various little things that may be of some technical use, like how to set up a flash drive, label a screenshot, and that sort of thing. So that's pretty much the introduction to the Moodle course. And then I've got separate briefings for the diary and the Zealandia Park. And as you can see there, probably best go back to session 1. Might pay to have a quick read through the 10-stake challenge there as to what has to be done there. And as I say, there's a good example there that you can use. So I think that's pretty much enough for an introduction, really. Gives you a brief overview of everything, and gives you a bit of scope for some questions. So if you're sort of watching this and because you haven't been able to make it to class, you know, put some questions down. You could even go so far as to email them to me if you have questions, or bring them up in class, and I can answer them by way of another video or as part of the introduction to session 2 next week. So let's leave it at there for now. Cheers. See you.